Ha!
And we're live just in time.
Just perfect. We know it. We're getting better at this. That's a lie. No, we're not.
No.
But anyways, hey, another exciting episode of Northwest Brewmeisters. We know you guys get excited about this. All one of you. Oh, look, somebody's live. Oh, wait, that's us. Okay, so anyways, we are the Northwest Brewmeisters, a couple guys from the Pacific Northwest who like beer.
Think you should too.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Steve.
And we're going to brew some beer today.
What's cool about this one, we're brewing the exact same beer today.
So we do that.
We only have to read it once.
That's right. So how about this? You read it, and I will switch into production team mode and share this to our one viewer.
All right. Well, if you tuned in last week and listened to the Hot Break, which is the little newsletter we get in our email from our Brewers Supply guys, Jamie mentioned the Fidalgo Fog, which is, was it quarterly they do or monthly? I can't remember what it said. Throughout the year, they kind of feature a kit that they build up, every couple months or so that kind of reflects, the season or maybe a business relationship with somebody. In that case, I'm referring to the coffee lover I made a few months ago, or whatever.
Which turned out amazing.
Yeah,
it was
really
really
good
good.
too.
It was good stuff.
And so this special is called Fidalgo Fog. I'm going to quote here the recipe: a true West Coast classic, once the most common beer produced and consumed, rescued and revived by Fritz Maytag. Yes, Maytag as the appliance guy, as Anchorstein beer, which you may or may not have heard of. I remember when I was stationed in California, Anchorstein was really easy to get because that's where it's from,
Sure,
so
that makes sense.
This beer is technically a lager, but it's fermented a little bit warmer than there's no lagering process. We're not going to lager it according to the instructions. I guess we could lager it if we really wanted to, but so we're gonna make it like an ale, but it's gonna have lager yeast in it though, which I'll get to. So the original gravity is 1.051, final gravity 1.016, which equates to an ABV of 4.6. So it's not a real high octane beer, which is fine. You don't always have to have super high strength beers.
No, my breakfast ale is 4.3, and I'm really liking that.
An IBU of 47.3, so yeah, not overly bitter either. Steeping grains are 14 ounces of Briess Caramel 80 Lobo Bond, so it's going to be kind of darkish, but not stout dark. In our case, we're using extract, so we have 6.6 pounds of Pilsen light malt extract, and our hops are all Northern Brewer. Total of 2 ounces of hops. 1 ounce will go in at the 16-minute point. 5 ounces, half an ounce. 0.5 ounces will go in at the 10-minute, and the last 0.5 ounces will go in the 1 minute mark. And the yeast, as I mentioned before, is Y Yeast 2112 California Lager. And we're not bottling, so I'm not going to worry about that. So this process is identical to everything we've done in the past. We're gonna steep our grains for 30 minutes, and then we're gonna put in our malts, bring it up to a boil, let it boil for about 60 minutes. Add our hops as per the schedule, cool it down as rapid as possible, and put it in our fermenters and let it sit for a couple weeks. So yeah, nothing really new there if you've seen any of our previous shows. And that's it, man. This is kind of a simple one, which is good. I don't mind a little simplicity every now and then. Don't always have to be making complex beers,
Right. And the nice thing is they're less expensive to make.
And we got a little taste of this before we left the store, and that was really good.
Because Ben and Trevor love us.
You guys are awesome if you're watching this.
Yes, if you made it this far into the video. All right, so I guess we should just get into it.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to read about my beer now. Everything he said.
Right. Oh, what we're drinking though is English bitter, which is a recipe I built from the ground up. I did take some influence from other recipes I found out there, but I kind of mix and match what I thought would be a good, combination, and it's okay. It's not as good as my other beers, I think, but I don't know. I mean, it's okay, but just I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's brutal honesty day here at the Northwest Brewmeisters.
Not amazing.
Yeah, but I would definitely drink it.
It's still drinkable.
We're gonna drink it, and we're gonna drink another.
I mean, I've had plenty of other beers I've made that was just kind of like, all right, it's kind of marginal.
Well, you're more critical than I am. I think most of your beers are fantastic. And apparently Resurrection Ale is back to one of its older iterations.
Yes.
Which I'm super happy about because he made the perfect beer. He painted the Mona Lisa as it were, in beer. And he's like, you think she needs a mustache? And I'm like, no, you idiot! Why are you messing with this? And he's like, no, I need you. Then he puts a mustache on the Mona Lisa.
I needed to know what didn't work, man.
Then he gauged her ears. And next thing you know, you got goth steampunk Mona Lisa. I'm like, what is this? You had beauty and perfection, and you made this thing. But fortunately, he applied a little paint thinner and some cosmetic surgery, and the gauges are gone, the mustache is gone, and now we're back to yes. Yeah, I'm not lying. I'm really happy about this.
I just racked it over today into secondary, so it'll sit for 2 more weeks in secondary. It was really muddy. Like it needs the second. It needs probably more than 2 weeks in secondary, to be honest with you.
Where's my kit?
It's behind you.
I need it.
Where I always put it.
Shush!
Unless your chair is there, then I put your chair.
You know, I guess you're right. You always.
It's okay. It's all right, man. I'm just messing with you.
Okay, so I'm going to go.
You're going to go first because we have a 60-minute boil.
That's standard.
He always goes first because his boiling kettle heats up way faster than mine. So we always like to ensure there's enough gap between our boils that we're not vying for the wort chiller and other things at the same time. And then while some of the beers is cooking still and while the other guy's still chilling. We've had that happen before. We're like, oh, how'd that happen?
Yeah, it's like everything's done. We both need that device right now. Both of us. Give me the device. Nope, because I need it.
Maybe I'll buy some kind of like flash freezer. It's just like boop. Now it's down to some set degrees. Even flames.
Yeah,
that's what I forgot.
Flash freezer?
Which I'm joking because I don't know if those exist or they're probably way out of my price range.
We used one when I worked on the ships up in Alaska.
Flash freezer. Just like poof.
Not quite that, but we're talking like
froze rather rapidly, right?
Yeah, we're talking like from like 40, maybe 35, 40 degree fish.
Yeah.
Down to -10 in about 5 minutes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking like rapidly chilling our wort, man. If we could go from we'll just say 212, even I know that's 1 point of water, but we'll say 212 down to like 70 in a matter of a minute or two. That beer would be really clear.
Yeah. And why does it sound like a kid?
Mm-hmm.
Does it always sound like that?
And you got that pressure pretty high. That's why it's so noisy.
Somehow managed to fog my thermometer already. But yeah, because that's one of our battles is haze. All of our beers are hazy. Except for this one's, well, I guess today it is hazy. The other, it was the IPA. Which is over there.
Yeah, that one.
The IPA is nice and clear.
Came out not hazy. And I don't know what I did differently with that one, other than, I just maybe I hit the mark on rapid cooling or something. Because I used Irish moss in it, and I did cold crash it for like a day or almost 2 days before I put gas on it. So
yeah,
maybe that's why I clarified so much.
I mean, our beers aren't muddy and mucky and all sedimented, but
no,
we just can't beat chill haze. At least I can't. Because you can't tell with half of my beers, or actually 3/4 of my beers, because they're all
dark.
black. It's just like,
and for those that don't know, chill haze doesn't affect the flavor of the beer. It just looks hazy, even though it's just particles suspended in the beer. That's all. It's nothing that doesn't affect the flavor. It's not toxic. Doesn't make you sick.
But we have it on good authority that we will have some reading material about haze and the different hazes. Apparently, there's lots of hazes.
Maybe he'll include some remedies like, hey, here's some tips you can do to try to reduce it.
Yeah. Well, so we were talking with Ben about how cold crashing contributes to chill haze, and I think we had a mix up of terminology because I think what he was thinking was cold crashing is chilling the wort, whereas what I was referring to is like the lagering,
right?
Because I guess is it more accurately called lagering? I mean, I've heard it used both ways.
I don't know. I mean, when I looked up cold crashing, I got instructions for what I do with my freezer.
Oh, okay.
I rapidly cool the wort, before I put gas on it.
In any case, the point is that I swear I read something, and of course, there's no way I'm going to look it up now. I mean, maybe I read it live, and so we could go back through the video archives. Except, of course, I never watch replays. So it's like,
Right.
once this is done, this is it. Everything we do here, it is there for forever. In any case, I have to look it up because I swear I read that. It's like, because that was the thing where it's like, and how do we beat that? Gelatin.
Gelatin, yeah.
So we throw the Irish moss in at the 15-minute mark, and then we cool rapidly, and then we lager, and then we add gelatin. It was.
Yeah. I read a thing about using gelatin. Actually, a few different articles about it. It's just like, wow. Some of them were like, you prepare the gelatin separate over the stove, over the water, and you just dump it in right before you ferment or something like that. I forget what it was. Or no, it was before you bottle it or before you keg it. I can't remember what I read now.
But the idea is the gelatin just grabs all those little
Yeah,
protein particles
just
and
kind of
sets them to the bottom.
Yeah, it's like think of like a magnetic field, just kind of and it sinks, you know. So something with it. But it's a very specific kind of gelatin. It's not like you go buy Knox gelatin. It was a very specific. All the articles had named a very specific brand. I can't remember the name of it either. Doesn't really matter. I'm not gonna do the gelatin thing anyway. I don't plan to, at least.
I don't plan on it. It's not. There is. I really enjoy making beer. I enjoy drinking our beers. I think our beers taste delicious. Quite a few.
You're biased, but you know, you can still be right even if you're biased.
You are right. But you know, all that. But there's a certain point where it's like, this is more work than it's worth.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if we're making money doing this, which we probably should never try to make money doing this, because then it would become work, and then you could only brew Resurrection Ale. It's like, I want to brew 7 different beers. I'm sorry, man. They want Resurrection Ale. You will brew Resurrection Ale. Although maybe you could like outsource your Resurrection Ale to Taiwan. And then you could brew other things while they brew your Resurrection Ale for you.
How about I just outsource it to a brewery here in the state?
It's so expensive.
Instead of overseas, yeah.
Well, I would never want to do that. I forget, I was talking with that. Maybe somebody I knew somebody at the Mac and Jack brewery. And they were like, that was actually one thing they lamented. It's like, yeah, you know, home brewers, they have so much fun with their brewing. You know, whereas we.
I know it's a job.
Yeah, this is work. You know.
Yeah. I mean, when you're brewing those large, you know, volumes, sure, it's even more work. But you know, they have a lot of automated equipment too in those big breweries. You know.
Oh, sure.
Breweries.
You know.
But still, I'm sure it's a lot of work to make, you know, monitor stuff. You still have to measure. You still have to do. You still have to clean. You know. So.
Oh, the cleaning. I bet the cleaning is just atrocious.
I would hope that they have an automated system. It's just like hit a button, flushes it with whatever needs to be flushed with, you know, sanitize it before the next batch kind of thing. I would hope that's sophisticated, you know, because that's what I would go for.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I want a self-cleaning system.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be about $30,000. Ooh. All right, I'll take out a loan.
You know, that's an interesting thing. Deep topic. First, deep talk it up. Deep talk it.
A pocket?
Okay.
I have a talk it.
A talk it. A ticket. A talk it. A tisket. A tasket. Now, first deep topic of the broadcast. Find a job doing something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Not true.
Not true.
I don't believe it.
Once you start doing something you love like that, where it becomes work, then you're working.
Yeah, and I think actually it reduces the amount that you love.
Unless you can keep it at a scale that it's still fun. When you have to mass produce something that you love, then you're not gonna love it anymore. You know.
Right. I mean, it depends on how much you love it. I mean,
right.
You know, but the thing is like, you know, and I don't know. Maybe it's like if someone who really loves sales, I love sales, and they get into sales. Okay, so that's one thing, right? Because that's a very concrete. Excuse me. Wow, good beer. Take it all back. This is an amazing beer. But no, you know, sales is a very defined field. You know, it's there. It exists. You love sales. You know, but if you love, well, like this, you love making beer.
Right.
And like in our case, you know, I don't think we make the same kind of beer one brew session in a row, ever. We come back, but we're always, like today we're making something from Ben and Trevor.
Yeah.
You know, just like, that's what we're making. So, and apparently it's a steam beer. It's kind of a lager.
Yeah.
We still don't know what this beer is.
It's based on Anchorstein.
Those of you who know, leave it in the comments.
I'm pretty sure Ben told us that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But I mean, the description, it's derived from Anchorstein. It might be a clone or close to it, you know.
Right. So, I don't know. It just seems like when you have these things you love, I think it's more in the creative realm too.
Right.
You know, like there are actually a lot of kids. When I went to school for my composition degree, a lot of kids dropped out within the first year and a half. Because they're like, man, I like music, but I don't like music like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is way too much work. It's way too serious. Of course,
I just want to go create.
Yeah. Or I just want to jam with my buddies,
right.
You know? I just want to play guitar or, you know, just maybe take my guitar playing to the next level. It's like, yeah, go find some online courses, man, and just practice in your room. Because it went, I mean, particularly you got to figure, I was in 90% of, and I just kind of pulled that number out of the air, but a large percentage of your music schools in the United States are classical tradition type. Right. You're going to start with Bach, you're going to learn theory, you're going to learn Roman numeral analysis and all that stuff.
Well, that's stuff that nobody uses anymore.
Well, that's
I'm being silly. I really don't know, you know.
We can segue off that in a minute. But anyways, you're going to learn all this. I know Berkeley in Boston is a pop music school. They teach, and when I say pop, I mean popular music. Dream Theater, those guys came out of Berkeley. Mm-hmm. You know, but that school concentrates on that. And I'm sure there's a few others. Berkeley is the only one that I know of that has like a really strong reputation, you know. But most of the others, particularly anything that's tied into any of your like state colleges, you know, right. University of Oklahoma, University of Montana, University of Washington, yada, yada, yada. Those are all going to be classical tradition. You're going to be studying Bach and doing these various things, but you're not going to be jamming on your guitar, right? So my point being was that a lot of those kids, they thought they loved music until they started learning about music, and they're like, oh, I don't love it like this.
Right.
But, so Roman numeral analysis. So Roman numeral analysis is an interesting thing because back in Bach's day, there was a lot more improvisation went on than most people who play Bach are allowed to do. Apparently, the tradition back then is that's where you'd get a figured bass, and you'd get like the bass note, and then a little number or a couple numbers. And it went, okay, so this is the bottom of the chord, but it's the third of the chord type deal. So if you got a C chord,
wouldn't that be a first inversion then?
Yeah, or a second inversion, or if you had a seventh chord, it could be a third inversion. Mm-hmm. So you'd have root, first, second, and third inversions, depending on the quality of the chord. But instead of writing out all the notes, right, they would give whatever the base note of the chord was, and then a number. So with a C, you've got C is your root, E is your third, and then G is your fifth, right? So you know, root 1, root 3, 5, and then if Bach wanted a C chord, but he wanted that E in the bass, he'd write the E, and then I think he'd write a 3/5 underneath. Oh, I forget.
Okay.
That's it. Figured bass is not my favorite thing either. Point being, a lot of improv, a lot of not writing everything out. Just like, here's a note, here's this, you know what that means, type deal.
Just make it happen.
Yep. You understand what I mean by saying this. So anyhow, I'm getting around to something. So now, I have a point to this whole thing.
Are you monitoring your temperature?
I am monitoring my temperature, 120 degrees.
All right. Cool.
At least I'm kind of monitoring it. Thank you for reminding me. So anyhow, jazz 20th century notation. Now you've seen this in charts, where it's got the words and it's just got like the letters over the top.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes they'll have a slash, right? So you'll have an A/C sharp.
Yeah.
So it means you're playing an A chord, but they want a C sharp in the bass, which it's expressed differently, but it is exactly the same idea.
Okay.
You know, it's like, I want this chord here, but I want this to be the bass note.
Gotcha.
Right? same idea. I much prefer 20th century notation. You know, and a lot of that, like Roman numeral notation, the whole purpose of that was just to say how the chord functions. You know, like this is a pulley. Let's take it with a vehicle, like your truck, right? This is a pulley. Okay, so a chord's a pulley, right? Yeah, but what does this pulley do in this truck? Is it the home key? Is it the tonic? Is it the fourth? Is it the fifth? Is it the flat six? You know, is that the water pump pulley? Is it an alternator pulley? Yada yada.
Right.
So that's Roman
numeral was a label essentially.
Yeah.
What you're saying, okay.
Yep, and all it does is let you know how the chord is used. And this has been Music Theory with Jamey.
You can all wake up now.
I am hurt. I am deeply hurt.
It's just interesting to me, but someone here might be like, "Oh my God, I didn't come here for a."
I will have you know that viewer number 2, whoever it is, did not go away during that whole diatribe. They are still there. Thank you,
Well,
viewer number 2. I mean, we are viewer number 1 also always.
Right,
because of
you're
the way the
monitoring.
monitoring is. Bam. Okay, so we always have one viewer. Woo! It is us.
Go viewer.
We have met the enemy, and it is us.
It is us. Well, maybe some of our other writers might show up, like Nathan.
I admonished Nathan. He apologized for not showing up last
And
time.
I always forget her name. She's in Seattle. She checks with every now and then.
Jade.
Jade, yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Some of our old regulars. I know sometimes people from the mansion, quite a few people pop in and say hi. You know.
Yeah, they pop in. Of course, the thing is, a lot of those guys are English.
Mm.
You know, I mean, they're in
So
English.
it's late over there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's 11 o'clock, 11:30 if we start on time. And we never start on time because we are the most professional broadcast this side of the Columbia River.
I think like one time we actually started at 3 o'clock because I don't think you went to church that day. We were much more
That's
earlier.
probably the only reason. I was lucky though today. I was worried that the Tulip Festival was kind of slow.
Oh, and then you have to go really early because of the bridge, or was it not so bad?
I didn't make it. I actually sent a text message to Lori. I just said, "Hey, we're going to be late."
Oh, okay.
But I think a lot of folks bailed or something, or maybe they got things done soon because my plan was, I was like, all right, we're not going to go early, but I'm just going to drive up to the road where all the runners are going to turn off.
Right.
And I'm going to sit there and wait. And I got up there.
Nobody there.
Well, actually, the first thing I noticed is I turned onto the highway, and there's all this traffic coming from that way. I was like, where is all this traffic coming from? The bridge is supposed to be closed. Yeah, got all the way, sailed right across.
Oh.
So I was actually not late to church today.
All
All right, there's 140. We're just gonna go sailing right past that. Do I have flame?
You have a little bit of flame, yeah.
Okay, that's all I want. Just a little bit.
Right. I mean, look at that candle from here. So
That's perfect.
that's about what you have.
Just a candle. I'll be your candle on water. Tap.
Yes.
And
No more, no less. All right. Speaking of, I guess. Oh, I don't have my phone. I have to grab my phone. I'm gonna need that.
yeah,
It was charging.
timers and things. Now it's time for Jamey Alone. So I saw something interesting today while Steve is gone. I saw a Jeep. You're thinking, Jeep's not interesting. It's like, true, a Jeep is not interesting, but on the back of this Jeep were stickers. And again, you may say, stickers.
Hey, you messaged me.
Oh. Yes, I
It's
did.
probably when you sit on your way or something.
Yes, with a thumbs up. But as I was saying, dear viewer, on the back of this Jeep were stickers. And again, you may say, stickers on a Jeep, this is not interesting in any way. But what were these stickers? And who was this Jeep driven by? Well, who the Jeep was driven by was not necessarily the most important, except he happened to be black. And you might say, well, that's a racist thing to say. Why would you say? I have no problem with a black person driving a Jeep. But now we get to the stickers. Yes, the stickers on this Jeep. And one of the stickers was Black Lives Matter. I'm like, okay, you support Black Lives Matter. That's you. You know, not so surprising considering that you're black. But then, my friend and my fair viewers, on the other side of that Jeep was a sticker that said, this Jeep protected by 45 ACP. And now we get to the interesting part of this discussion, or a little monologue that was supposed to last while it was Jamey Alone, because Steve left. And that is, it is very interesting how the groups that we have formed in the United States are not monolithic. And we tend to think of them that right? BLM supporter, that's kind of a left thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, you are pro-choice. You are, right? You are anti-gun. You are green energy. You are all these things, right? Because you're on the left.
I guess people tend to lump.
Right. And that's what I'm not saying this is true.
Right.
What I'm saying is that is the perception. You know, you are Latino, therefore you are this. You're white, therefore you're that.
Right.
Unless you're educated white, in which case, therefore, you're this. Unless you are female educated white, in that case, you're this. It's like lump. It's like, no, here's a guy.
Lump, sublump, and sublump.
Yeah, there's so many sublumps, but then we have to divide the lumps. So you divide the lumps and then relump, lump, and then you get just, it's not monolithic. So here's a guy who was obviously a Second Amendment guy.
Right.
Or somebody tagged his Jeep with a 45 ACP sticker, which I doubt.
Yeah, I doubt. That's always specific to be tagging them. Yes.
Right. And here's the more interesting thing of this whole stereo. The BLM sticker.
If you don't know what that means, the ACP, it's a bullet caliber.
Yes.
For anybody who doesn't know, because some people don't know that stuff. You know?
That's true. Good enough. 45 caliber, which is roughly 45 thousandths of an inch across the diameter of the bullet, roughly. Because there's like a 44, but then you get into things like the 308 and stuff. The bullet measuring system is stupidity to the extreme. Just, well, that's a 7mm, but it's a 308. Was a 308 308 thousandths? No, it's just 30 caliber. But here's a 37 something. Oh, that's 30 caliber too. No, that's 22 caliber. I am so confused. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
In any case, the funny part was the BLM sticker was on the right side of the Jeep, and the pistol sticker was on the left side. How about that?
You think that was intentional, or
no? I don't.
Okay,
I highly doubt that guy. I mean, he had some issues that he wants people to know that this is where he stands.
Yeah.
Which is cool enough.
That's part of his First Amendment rights. He can.
Man. Welcome to America.
And he's not doing it violently, and he's not impeding anybody else's rights while he's doing it. So,
right, I'm sure
there's about, dude. You know,
I'm sure there's someone out there who's offended. And
someone's probably offended.
Stress causes a physiological response, therefore offensive language is violence. That is such a stretch. You haven't heard that?
Oh no, I know. I'm just thinking, how is a bullet caliber in BLM? You know,
look, I might be a crazy right-wing snowflake. Or a crazy left-wing snowflake.
I'm gonna say right-wing snowflake doesn't exist.
No, trust me, man.
It does?
You are wise to be off the social media. But I am bravely out there for you. You know, that's why I drink a lot of your beer.
So I'm guessing the far right.
I guarantee you, man. There are people. Okay. So let's take the Bud Light thing. That was like there are people. I mean, this is stupidity. You know, I'm a conservative guy. We know this. I mean, if you've watched any amount of our episodes, you know I'm not in the liberal camp. I'm not a progressive. But I like to think I at least bring some sort of level-headed to us, and I can kind of see things for what they are. So Bud Light, I don't know if they even endorse this person, but they endorse a transgender person. And the right wing just went nuts. You know, some of it I chuckled at. But then a lot of them said, oh, we're going to Coors. And then the pictures of old Coors advertisements endorsing LGBT rights started flowing. It's like, good move. Out of the frying pan into the fire.
Yeah.
There really are. There are snowflakes on both sides of the aisle. I mean,
I believe it. And just, you know, typically you hear the word snowflake and you would kind of defer to the left side, you know.
Yep.
But that makes sense. Yeah. You know.
I think part of it is because
I believe there's snowflakes on all walks of life.
Yeah. Well, they jumped into the camera first.
Yeah.
You know, and they jumped into the camera for just really silly things. Stress causes a physiological response, therefore words are violent.
Okay, stress isn't a new thing, man.
No, but I mean, but that logic train.
Yeah.
You know, we need safe spaces. It's like, no, you don't need a safe space. You need to be challenged.
You need to be resilient.
Yeah, you didn't go to college, you know, to have your own ideas taught back to you. You know, it's like, come on, this is the real world. There are all sorts of opinions out there. We have to turn that off.
Not to overshoot.
Yeah, not by a lot though. We're at 160. So.
Right, there's as many opinions as there are people. I
Right.
just have to accept the fact that people's opinions may go against your grain, man.
Yeah, and you're gonna get offended in life. It's gonna happen. I mean, and it's just safe space. I mean,
yeah.
I do think. So we're kind of bordering on the controversial part of things, and I know we try and not get too controversial.
Maybe we need to
But
steer away.
I do think that I think the current generation needs to face a little more adversity. Which is not to say that our generation was super tough in relation to, say, our grandparents' generation.
Right. Yeah.
You know, there were some things that they looked at like, why are you whining about this?
Right.
That's just life. Suck
Throw some dirt in it. You know.
Yeah. Get over it. People die. It's like, well, yeah, but they don't have to die.
Right.
Right. So I get that, but I just think that there's a lot of folks that are not. They're not emotionally and mentally as tough. And
Right.
True toughness, toughness can be used as a true academic term. They're not as tough as they need to be. Because the world can be really mean.
Yeah, there's a lot of messed up stuff out there. And that's why, excuse me, people who have never been anywhere outside the U.S. or, much less the town they grew up in or the city they grew up in, make these sweeping generalizations about things that they really don't know anything about. It's like, man, I spent 22 years in the military. I went to a lot of different countries. You think we have it bad here? Why don't you go over to that country and spit on the sidewalk and see what happens to you?
See what happens.
Why don't you go, talking to males in this case, why don't you go over to Singapore and smack some girl on the ass and, and give her a whoop whistle and see what happens to you?
Have you ever been to Singapore?
I have.
Please tell me what happens.
Oh, you get caned.
Nice!
Yeah.
Yes, we need to bring cane to this country.
see-
Unfortunately, I probably would have been caned a few times in my life.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one example.
If I got caught.
I've been to Singapore 3 times throughout my career, and you can't chew gum in public.
Now, I knew that one.
When I refer to spitting on the ground in public, that's actually what I was referring to. Yeah, it's probably one of the cleanest cities in the freaking world because
I've heard that.
they have laws against that kind of stuff. I know smoking, like you're not supposed to walk around and smoke, but I remember there were like these big community ashtrays on the corners of certain roads. It was like a smoking spot. You could stop and smoke there. And
throw your butt away.
Throw your butt away, and you walk on. Like you weren't supposed to walk around and smoke. But yeah, spitting, chewing gum. You didn't see graffiti. You didn't see anything like that. Doing this, disrespecting women kind of thing, like cat calls, smacking asses. Yeah, you'll go to jail for that. No, the reason they get caned is they made us watch an actual caning of an American teenager.
I think I remember.
Some kid was there. He wasn't military. He was there.
In the news though.
Like he was either a college student or his parents were there, and he was.
Wasn't that the one where his father? Somebody interviewed his father, and it's like, hit the kid. He deserved it.
That might have been the one because he did something stupid while he was
a long time ago. Anyways,
and they recorded the caning, and he was bare-assed on a frickin' whatever they call that thing, and his butt cheeks were shreds when they got that. I forget how many whacks he got, but his butt cheeks were just shreds, man.
Well, yeah, it's brutal. I mean, it ain't no spanking.
Right. So you want to call this a police state? Okay. you don't know what a police state is. You know what I mean? Try going to some of these countries in Central America where you get shot on sight. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I mean.
Yeah. And that's why I just kind of shake my head at those kind of people that are all vocal and loud and we're so oppressed. It's like, you have no clue. You've never been anywhere, have you?
And again, that comes from both sides too.
I know. I'm not picking on anybody. I'm not picking on any political side. I'm just picking on those kind of people that they're ignorant, man.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think it's worth looking at. It's like, well, we don't have it as bad as when Stalin was in Russia. It's like, yeah, and we don't want to get there.
Right.
I remember, I grew up in Nowheresville, Montana. I love my hometown, but it had 1,500 people in it. It might still have 1,500 people in it. I don't know. It's a small town. But there was a kid that was in school. I mean, he was obviously a transplant from a large city. Don't know how he got there. He was not happy. I mean, I think his mom and his dad, whoever brought him there, they were happy, but he was not. And something happened. And the town was kind of excited about it. And it was a minor thing like graffiti. And that was his thing. He's like, oh, this ain't graffiti where I'm from. Yeah, and he went off about it. It's like, yeah, but that's the whole point.
Right.
We don't ever want that to happen.
We don't need to get to that level.
We don't want to have the point where we're fighting large organized criminal groups, you know. It's like, who wants to do that? You know, and in your big cities, whether it's the Bloods and the Crips, and I don't know how powerful they are anymore.
I don't know.
But I don't know the names of many gangs because I don't hang out in, well, for one thing, I don't hang out in big cities. So I don't know. But
yeah, I don't know what's going on in that world. I don't care to know either. I mean,
but anyways, they're organized.
Right.
You know, they have a hierarchy. They have plans. They do things. It's like you're not just chasing random criminals. It's like this is a group that is going to withdraw, regroup, and then attack back. And they're going to attack the police. And it's like, yeah, who wants to fight that?
Yeah.
And it's tough, you know, it's interesting because you're like, Singapore is super beautiful and clean, but look at all the rules you got to follow to keep it that way.
Yeah, but it's not like they're hard rules to follow. It's a little bit of respect for other people and your surroundings. That's all it is, you know.
Yeah.
Throw that McDonald's bag away. Don't be that piece of crap that just leaves it next to their car in the parking lot. It's like, are you kidding me? You couldn't take that home and throw it away, you lazy piece of, you know. I mean, and it's always, I say that very specifically because where I work, man, I'll see that people leaving their McDonald's bag and soda, you know, right next to where their car been parked. It's like, oh, you're a lazy piece of crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is frustrating. Definitely is frustrating.
That's one of the things that just boils my blood is that kind of laziness, man. It's like, oh my God, you self-centered. I'm just gonna try to keep it clean,
Keep it. Yeah, that's great. Let's not go PG for another 40 minutes.
At least another 40 minutes, yeah. Anyway, yeah, laziness is just one of my things that really pisses me off. That kind of laziness, you know. I don't mean like, oh, I'm tired, I'm just gonna chill today, but just you could, you can't wait till you get home to throw something away, or
16 minutes.
Okay. Or you just spit your gum out on the sidewalk instead of just doing something else with it, or waiting till you get to a trash can,
or gutting it.
Here's when it gets me. It's like, there's a big, ashtray, a cigarette butt can or whatever, and there's a bunch of butts all around it. It's just like, really?
Yeah, that is just, it's like, come on, man. I just don't understand how, we live in, like, now with such a hypersensitive age of all that stuff, littering and pollution and all this. It's like, how can you still not care?
Yeah.
No,
I don't think it's a matter of care. Or maybe it is. It's probably just apathy, man. Apathy mixed with with laziness. I don't want to hang on this bag for another 5 minutes.
Yeah. The street sweeper will sweep it up. Yeah, in 7 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to get on a rant on that, but just a little example.
Too late.
I ranted a little bit, but I didn't go off.
No, not like that one day. Yeah, that was an anger rant.
Yeah. Well, because it struck home.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's just like, time to rant.
But
I don't want to rant today.
All right, no rant.
Anyway, let's change course away from political and controversial topics. This isn't a political controversial show. It's a show about making beer.
True.
Which has evolved into two guys that talk about everything and just happen to be making beer at the same time.
True. Well, we just got it. I mean, we just got it. It's like there's only so much talking about beer we could do, and then we'd run out, and then we'd stare at the camera. But we could talk about making beer.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
Well, I'm all about it. So my breakfast ale, man, that landed right on the mark.
Yeah,
as far as I was concerned.
It was good. I liked it.
Well, I mean, it's just like you like your Resurrection Ale, but you're like you like your IPA. I really liked your IPA that you got there, but it is not what you want it to be, right?
No,
you have like a little bit of tweaking, right?
I had a envisioned a flavor in my head, and again, it just didn't have that flavor that I was hoping it would have.
Right, and what I'm saying is that my breakfast ale just went right where it's supposed to be.
Oh, good.
A little bit biscuity, a little bit citrusy, low ABV, crisp, clean, easy drinking. It was just super happy with that beer. Super, super happy.
Oh, excuse me.
And that is a pretty mellow beer. Most of my beers are very complex. There's like anywhere from 7 to 10 different kinds of grains mixed in there. And that's an interesting. What do we have? There's only one steeping grain in this, right?
Yeah.
Or is it 2?
Caramel 80. That's
Caramel
it.
80.
That's all it is.
So that's how dark it is, by the way.
Caramel 80L. 80 on the local bond scale. Yeah. Yeah. I knew it was going to be a little bit on the darker side.
So this is a super simple beer.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to my stout, which has, I think, 7 different grains in it.
Yeah, it's when you're like double bags.
Yeah. By the way, next time we join and brew beer and talk about everything but brewing beer, we got to make the Scotch ale. That one definitely has to go to hunting camp with me.
Mm-hmm.
My dad likes that one. Although he was impressed at how quickly the peanut butter stout grew upon him. He was like, that one just like, he's like, Chow, peanut butter. I'm drinking peanut butter. Nobody drinks peanut butter, Chow.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, you are so wrong, Papa.
Many
so
people drink peanut butter.
Peanut butter is one of the very popular. Coconut and peanut butter, they're right up there. I mean, all of them seem to have a chocolate base, but that's like chocolate's like a given. It's like, yeah. Peanut butter chocolate, coconut chocolate, marshmallow chocolate, all the
chocolate.
Stout is an amazing foundation for crazy beers.
All right, we're gonna make a chocolate-covered strawberry stout.
Right?
How? Cantaloupe.
Nice.
It's getting weird. And shrimp. That would be a little weird.
Yeah, that would. I don't know if I'd like that one.
So, hold on. Just saying.
Whatever. You know what? I let you cross the finish line first. I was like this. I was like, nah, what? Let Steve win. Yeah.
Let's have an IPA.
Good. Pour me a beer, sucker.
Hey, Heather, pour me a beer.
By the way, how's that coming?
Just practicing a little bit. Practice each day, I didn't practice today. I have time. Like when you were building up your boot chicka technique, I just had to practice each day.
Dude, that took me a
I'm
month.
the right beer, right? No, I'm not.
Ah! I could have drank that.
It's like half a. It's like a 16th of an ounce.
It's still a crime against humanity.
Too many faucets, man. I need to get a tap system.
You do. With spigot handles. Your pan just made a noise at me.
Oh, it's probably just wet on the outside or something.
We run out of beer?
Oh, the IPA is getting really low. Let's see what it does for us.
I'm watching you intently. This is the most dramatic, gripping, thrilling beer pouring I've ever seen. I want to talk about something light and non-controversial. One of the guys at work, he watches this girl, Katrina Eats. I think it's Katina Eats. Anyways, smaller frame.
What does she eat?
What was that?
We're out of IPA?
We're out of IPA? You can pour half of mine in there, man.
That's got some sediment in it.
Oh. Farty beer.
Party beer.
Farty beer.
Fart beer.
Seriously, dude, take half, level those out. So this girl is either Katina or Katrina, and she eats lots of food or eats food or food eating challenge. So what she does is she travels around and she finds those places that have these. Oh wow! Show the audience your beer, Steve.
I poured myself a hazy today. It was clear. Oh yeah, there's chunks in that thing, man. Oh, it's gonna be fun.
I feel bad for your wife.
That has some serious sediment in it.
You hit the bottom.
Oh boy. All right, so we still have plenty of bitter, and of course there's a. Oh, it's just really gooey. It's all inside it's all gritty inside the hose.
Yeah.
Oh boy, it's time to clean this thing out. Are you serious? Landed a puddle of stuff at the bottom.
You still have some of the Godiva?
Yeah, I stopped talking stout. I need to pull these out and clean this thing out again.
So, and now it's time.
I gotta clean this real quick, man. Or like rinse it. It's really dirty.
He can't deal with it not being clean. Steve's definitely a clean as you go guy. Whereas I'm gonna throw it all in the sink and we'll clean it later. Then we end up having to work our way around the things in the sink, and I'm still cool with it.
Okay, I didn't want that stuff to dry on there.
No, I get it, dude. You're cool.
There's bearings and stuff in there.
So I'm trying to tell you this story that's lighthearted.
Okay, Katrina, whatever her name is.
Anyways, this girl, so she travels around, and I'm sure you've seen them in life. You know, it's like, Barley Bob's Breakfast Challenge, and it's like a 48-ounce T-bone, and then, like 48-ounce T-bone, 2 pounds of hash browns, and 18 eggs, and if you can finish it in half an hour, your meal is free.
She does those kind of challenges?
She does those.
She a big girl?
No.
Oh.
She's like.
Heck.
Welcome to PG.
13.
13. She's like a little bit taller than Riley, maybe.
Oh, okay.
And slender. She's. But yeah, this girl, geez, she eats a lot of food. But it's like, why do you do that? It's like they bring out these burgers, the burger, and it is definitely a 3-foot burger. And just patty. And cheese. And I'm like,
heart attack waiting to happen.
Yeah, but the thing is like, there's nothing appetizing about that. Like, even when you go to a restaurant and you get a burger, and the burger is like 6 inches thick.
Right.
It's like, that doesn't look, it's like,
it's not too much, man.
How am I gonna get, I can't bite this.
I'm not a snake. I can't unhinge my jaw. I don't know if I'm gonna drink this, man. Let's look at that. I think a little too much. I don't want all the grit. Honestly, I'm gonna dump it. Or you drink it.
No. I think maybe you should dump that one.
Yeah.
I can feel it on my teeth.
Wow, that stuff didn't. You know how I always kind of purge a little bit out the. I don't know why that didn't come out when I purged it.
I don't know.
First time. That's weird. All right. Yeah, I'll be right back again. Sorry.
Jamie alone.
So I'll start with a stout.
Yeah.
A stout.
Good idea. Yeah, that beer was pretty thick. Really sad. We usually don't dump beers ever. But indeed, went down the wrong tube. This is what it should have looked like. That is a nice clear beer, wouldn't you say? Beautiful. Unlike that chocolate milk thing that he just had in his hand. How much time do I have left? 3 minutes and 51:49:87. About 3.5 minutes. And we will be done steeping.
Okay, so I'm getting the malts in hot water for a little bit. Soften them up.
Good idea. I have 3 minutes. It's a little late, actually, now that I think about it.
Stop doing that.
Dropping the hoses in the bottom?
No, I just tried to pick it up and open a little bit, and so I'm just making a mess, more of a mess in here.
Oh, yeah.
Tops of I need to clean out the tops of these kegs. Lots of dribbles and stuff. I think I may need to get like a Cobra holder or something.
Cobra holder?
Somebody like put those Cobras on because you go to grab it, it moves slightly, it spits everywhere, you know. Okay. There's a nice stout.
Hey, so we got a viewer who's right up your alley.
Okay, what's up, man?
So
We have a viewer commenting.
we do. It says, you know what would go? Oh, where are my glasses? Oh, they're somewhere. You know what would go nice with that nice fresh beer? A fat NJ roll-up, mate. Smoke a joint. I'm gonna let Steve field that one.
Well, you know, I can't disagree.
I'm a Baptist. I'm not a Baptist.
Yeah, I'm pretty much Tim.
Ready?
All right.
Definitely, you do you, man.
Right. I can't disagree, but I don't partake. So
we do live in the land of legal weed now. So
we do live in the land of legal weed. That's true. But my job prevents me from doing that.
yes. It is one of those choices.
All right. And my temp. I'm about to blow past my temp.
Imagine having legal.
All right, there you go. Excuse me while I submerge my sack in the water.
Ooh. Apparently, our viewer, who is, forgive me if I murder this, it's either Kaelem or Calem, TM. Imagine, jeez, I got something in my throat. COVID! I've got COVID. Says, imagine having legal weed. And I was like, you know, what?
We actually do. Yeah, we're in the state of Washington. It is legal here.
Ooh, went to HMP Belmarsh for 10 years. Where is Belmarsh? For 20 grams.
Oh, is that you were incarcerated? That's what I take it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
For 10 years for 20 grams?
Wow.
Was funny. Okay, you're a harder person than I am.
I can't say I've never did anything like that, man.
Yes, or laughed about it.
All right.
Where's Belmarsh? We gotta find out where Belmarsh is. HMP.
You know you have
Her
a
Majesty's.
Peter right here.
I'm engaging in conversation with our viewer. Thank you very much. I bet he could just answer and say it's in Scotland. HMP. I'm going to say that's Her Majesty's prison.
I don't know.
Well, HMS, Her Majesty's ship.
Right.
And it's time.
There. Oh crap! I didn't keep my timer off.
You should probably do that.
Yeah. Oh, it's only been a minute. So.
Yeah, but we actually can imagine having legal weed here because it is.
Yeah, I don't know when it became legal here, but
what?
I don't know when it became legal here, but it's been a number
several
of
years ago.
Yeah.
After Colorado.
Yeah. So was this the second state to do it?
Yeah,
Colorado was the first. Yeah.
Colorado was the first. Washington was the second. Alaska exists out there in kind of this nebulous land, but I think it's mainly in Alaska. They only have so many police, and they don't have time to enforce laws like that. I don't think Alaska actually had any laws on weed, one way or the other.
Right.
In fact, I don't know if Washington did.
I don't really know.
A lot of states, that's like Montana with a speed limit. Montana never had a speed limit. They do now, but they never had a speed limit. They just used the federal speed limit. And then when the feds dropped the federal speed limit, Montana had no speed limit again.
Oh, nice.
So I wouldn't.
I'm at the top end of my temperature. Stay right there. Oh, what's he saying?
Yep, the queen locked me up. Oh, it's beer time. It is beer time. You need to be drinking beer.
We're drinking.
And I would suggest that until it's legal, wherever you are. Where are you? Are you England, Scotland, Ireland, Northern? Which one is part of the UK? Northern Ireland or the Republic of Ireland?
I don't want to say it and be wrong, so I'm just not going to say. Because I really don't know.
We know enough to know that Ireland is split, and part of it is EU, and part of
I
it.
think Northern Ireland is considered UK. I think. Because a friend of mine told me, like when he was a teenager, his parents used to do a lot of traveling, and they were in Northern Ireland, and they stopped somewhere to buy food or whatever, and they pulled out, I believe it was British pounds, and the storekeeper was like, "Hey, put that away, put that away.
Oh,
we don't take that here, and you might catch trouble with people."
Wait, so you think I think Northern Ireland is EU. Is that what you
I
meant
don't
to say?
know.
Maybe
our viewer, yeah. Maybe our viewer can. No, I didn't say EU. I said UK.
Educate us.
Maybe our viewer can help us. Well, we can look it up, but I'd rather interact with somebody and talk to you.
It's more fun. He knows more than this stupid phone.
Right?
I gotta go get my malts.
Okay, yeah, they're in the sink this morning,
Right.
So
No problem. I'll be right back.
So just to kind of catch you up real quickly here, we're making a type of lager. I don't know if you've heard of it. There's a beer that was made in California called Inkerstein. I think it became real popular in the early 20th century, maybe the late 19th century. This is a clone recipe from our brew supply guys where we get our ingredients usually. More often than not, we do our own recipes, but we decided to be a little more lazy and do someone else's recipe this time around. Are you a brewer by chance? Or just a happy consumer? Because we're both. In fact, I'm drinking a chocolate stout I made, gosh, maybe 2 or 3 months ago. So this one came out pretty good. But of course, I'm biased to my own beer, but it doesn't make me wrong though. If you're talking, I can't see it. I'm gonna go check that. Yeah, pretty good. I'm a big fan of stouts, but I don't like Guinness actually. Here in America, everybody seems to think Guinness is the only stout that exists, unless you're in the the beer world.
Yeah,
you're in the craft brew world. But the regular consumers out there, it's like, oh, you must like Guinness. It's like, well, no, actually, I don't. I'm not a fan of Guinness. At least not what comes over here. Now, I did have the pleasure of having a real Guinness in Ireland one year. I was near Dublin in a little town next to Dublin called Dunleary, and actually got to have a fresh pour of real Irish Guinness, on tap at the tavern we were hanging out at, which that was like 1996. So honestly, don't remember how much better it tasted, but I remember it tasted different than what we get here in the United States. So I just over the years, I've just never been a fan of the export version of the Guinness we get. And then I learned about other stouts, probably 30 years ago, and so I really enjoy stouts of different places, different styles.
Mm-hmm.
Different flavors,
So you got a response. Nah, Guinness is good, but I do like a couple others. I wonder, how do I get rid of this stupid heart that is over the top of the
I know it kind of blocks what he's saying. I was trying to read when you were getting your malt. I was reading what he was saying.
So did you catch the "how do you make it" comment?
What's that?
I don't know. He said,
oh no, I didn't see that.
How you make that? And go.
Oh well, it's all your grains, of course. We have using dark grain, British chocolate malts. I forget what else went in there. I don't have the recipe in front of me, but you boil your steeping grains you steep your grains for about 30 minutes, which is what's in here. Once that's done, you add your malts, which is what he's getting ready to do. In the case of the stout, we use some kind of dark malt. I forget the name of it, and that goes for about an hour. And then to get the chocolate flavor, in this case, we use cocoa nibs during secondary fermentation. I know I'm kind of jumping around, not really going through the process because it'd take me a while to explain it if I gave you all the gory details.
Fine.
But in the end, it was chocolate stout, and I don't get a strong chocolate flavor from this one, but just kind of an aftertaste, if you swallow. This one's brewed, very British style as well, with With the ingredients that went into this one.
A lot of it depends on your specialty grains.
Yeah.
As far as the flavors. Now, you can, and we're just gonna switch over to a pot cam. We call this pot cam. Ha! Weed, fatties, pot cam. Funny. Okay, not really. Really bad dad jokes. But the some people actually add, they call them cacao nibs or cocoa nibs or whatever. They're basically busted up cocoa beans.
All right.
You know, they're not the ones that are ground into powder.
So what he's adding is kind of a partially dehydrated sugar syrup mix. Essentially, is what it is. You know, it's malted barley, but when they got when it was made at the factory wherever it's made, they partially dehydrated. That's why it's kind of gooey like that,
like a molasses.
And then it'll dilute once it's in the water. But it provides the sugars that the yeast are going to consume later on when we actually put the yeast in the wort. It's called wort. Put it in the wort, and they consume the sugars, and then they convert the sugars into starches, and then they actually don't convert. The starch is already converted.
The starches get converted to sugars.
They eat the sugars, and the byproduct from the yeast eating the sugar is alcohol and carbon dioxide.
And there's also other things. There's phenols and esters and things that impact the flavor of the beer. Because remember, we had that discussion.
Yeah.
It was years ago. We're like, why do we have to do alcohol? Okay, he's keeping up. Good. But it's like, why do we have to do alcohol in the beer? It's like, why don't we just skip that step? And I remember you were taken aback and almost unfriended me in real life. It was a scary moment for me. But
I don't remember this, but okay.
It wasn't quite. I'm being dramatic. It's a story. Shh. Anyhow, but we looked into it, and the thing is that the yeast does not just add alcohol and CO2.
Right.
It adds.
Oh no, I said it's a byproduct of the yeast.
Right. Well, yeah. But I remember back then I was asking, is that all the yeast does? Because if it is, let's just skip the yeast and we'll go straight to carbonation. But that's not true.
You have to have the yeast to make the alcohol.
Yep, you have to have the yeast. But because I'm, and to this day, it's like the alcohol is not the most important part. Although I'm not gonna lie, man, a high ABV belly warmer is kind of nice,
especially in the colder months. You remember that Scottish Wee Heavy? That was
a good.
That was a warming beer. You drank half your pint, and you were just warm all over.
Yeah. Boy, drank one of those, and it's like we ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, that one was almost too strong. In the end, that one ended up being 10.2 ABV, way higher than I thought it was going to be. But it was the first time I'd made a Wee Heavy, but it was good. It was fun.
Yes, my G. We make the best grog. All right. So you got to tell us. We're just gonna go full honesty, ignorance here. Where you at, man? You obviously are UK-ish, but that's all we got. We got 3 countries that we can think of.
I have about 20 minutes remaining on my steep.
All right. I'm not trying to dawdle. I'll be ahead of you.
All right. Well, I'm maintaining good temp, so I'm at that little. I'm right just a tick above the 70 Celsius. So.
Go, mighty pot can.
All right. Show us the way. So what he's going to add his malts and then get those dissolved in there, and he's going to bring up his fire and get it up to kind of a nice rolling boil, not a real aggressive boil, but just a rolling even boil. And then he'll start his timer and it'll go for 60 minutes. Sorry, 60 minutes. And then throughout that 60-minute period, he's going to add hops at different intervals. My beer is the exact same beer he's making. Usually we make different kinds of beers, but we decided just to make the same beer this time. So we didn't really feel like I didn't really feel like building a recipe this time. Like I mentioned earlier, we're just kind of lazy in this go around, and we figured we'll let the guys at the Brew Supply store provide the recipe, which is what they did. They kind of periodically do these specialty recipes they put out every quarter or so, every couple months, and this is one of them.
So, by the way, I'm saying you're in Scotland. I'm going to base that
Is
off.
that your wager?
That's my wager. HMS Belmarsh. And
we haven't looked anything up yet. I know we could look it up, but
we haven't cheated yet.
Yeah.
But I got HMS Belmarsh, which sounds Scottish to me.
Oh, it wasn't HMS. It was
HMP, Her Majesty's Prison. That was my guess. But we got
Penitentiary, maybe, who knows?
Yep. But we got Belmarsh, and then we got a very positive reaction when you mentioned a wee heavy.
Oh, we have. That's true. Yeah.
I'm saying you're from Scotland, brother.
And in fact, Jamie he's gonna make. You're gonna make a Scotch ale next time, right?
Yeah, I am. Oh man, my dad. Here, you can have this back now. My dad really loves my Scotch ale.
All right, I gotta step off for a minute.
And I'm not lying. I love Scotch ales. Scotch ales are delicious. It's probably, I don't know, between stouts and Scotch ales, man. That's where I land. I mean, I like all the beers. Not gonna lie. Oh, he left. Okay, so been talking to no one for the past 30 seconds. No big deal. We're gonna go ahead and leave it on pot cam here. Well, he is off. He's off to other things.
Oh, okay.
There's only us now.
Oh, well, it was cool to have someone else come talk to us. You know,
It's always fun. Always fun. You should freaking call Nathan. Hey! Where are you?
I don't have his number. Do you have his number?
I'll find his number. I'm sure I can get it.
He's probably busy. Who knows?
Yeah. You are not beholden.
Did he ever say where he was at? Or?
Hmm?
Did he ever say where he was at?
No,
Did
he
confirm?
didn't. How do you get rid of that stupid heart? Go away.
I don't think you can get rid of it. Anyway, fire.
So dumb. Thank you.
Timeline, man. Timeline.
Yep. I know.
I'm just giving you shit.
I know. We're not off track here yet.
No, I know.
Flame on! Well, I gotta tell you. Okay, so now we gotta verify.
What's that? Verify. Oh, what he said? Or like look up what?
Well, we're gonna see if I'm right. Her Majesty's Prison, Belmarsh.
You were correct.
Ooh, Southeast London. In Thamesmead, Southeast London, England. Is run by Her Majesty's Prison Service.
Okay.
All right. So, smack in London. Right in London.
So, he could still be Scottish, you know, even if he got incarcerated in London, you know. So,
Right. He's got.
or maybe really likes wait, heavies.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, yes, with two S's, my G.
Oh,
We make the best grog.
okay.
And that was right after you talked about the wee heavies.
We heavies. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Well,
Cool. Although we've mentioned before, man, a lot of our favorite beers come out of England.
Yeah.
Stouts, Scotch ales. I mean, England, UK, the British Isles. You know, Scotch ales, stouts, porters, IPAs. They all come out of England.
well, they did it first, so.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in relation to us at least. A lot of countries made beer, you know, early days. But yeah, I love English ales, you know, UK. I was gonna say UK ales because I like Scottish ales, like wee heavies, I like but just not. I'm not a fan of Guinness though. You know? So not that I have to be, but it's just.
Well, and again, the Guinness that's here is not the same
It's
as
not
the
the same
Guinness
as you get over
in
there,
Ireland.
yeah.
I mean, and who knows now? I mean, Guinness isn't its own brewery. Bass Ale isn't its own brewery.
Oh yeah. There's another commercial stout called Murphy's, which I can't. I've had it, but it's so long ago I don't remember what it tastes like. You know. So.
I've had it. I wasn't overly impressed.
Okay. Yeah.
I found it. I think I found it at Greg's.
Oh. Grab some. It's like, I didn't care for this one.
It's not like it was gross and grody.
Right.
It's just that neither was it amazing. Oh, this is the cool hot break. It's the one where there's little chunkies floating around. Everything gets all coagulated. Come on, get out of the way, you stupid foam. Stupid foam, get out of the way so people can see. I hope you can see this. This is my favorite. I love when this happens. I really do, man.
Yeah, you're quite excited.
It's so cool, dude. It's like a chemical precipitation.
Science.
It's like, it is. It's like science. It's so cool. This broadcast is going for a long time. Because I want to show them. Because I will bet that when we put this into the Carboys, it does the same thing. Where you ever get those layers and it looks like the little like brainies inside there. That is so cool. It looks cool. Maybe we'll just take a picture, post it places.
Yeah. Might as well. Right, I have just under 12 minutes remaining on my steep. Got quite a delay there.
She blinded me with science. Okay, I'm done with that. It just came out of my head. Couldn't help it. How long is the delay? Let's find out. 1, 2, 3. 3 seconds. That's not horrible.
Maybe that's enough time to go boop. You know, if somebody cusses, but we don't have a boop guy.
Yeah, we don't. We really need a production crew here.
That's funny.
See everything. It's really cool because you can see everything moving under the surface.
Yeah.
Like the surface is still, but underneath it is like you can see that stuff.
Oh yeah, you see that activity.
Telling you, I think it's cool. It is so cool. Science is cool.
Look, we're sciencing.
We are sciencing. See, you're watching it just like me.
It's fun to watch. It's like watching a fire. You just,
right, it is. It's exactly like watching a fire. It's like, ooh.
You just, the movement, it's all random, kind of, you know, you're just like, oh, look at all that. Sorry, I'm gonna avert my eyes somewhere else.
You don't have to.
It's not like it's a naked person, you know.
It's almost as good, dude.
Naked is good. You know, we all like naked, but
well,
especially naked oats.
Yeah, I love naked oats, but I don't know. You said we all like naked, and somebody thought of naked Donald Trump, and I was like, oh,
come on.
Sorry, man.
Come on, man.
And suddenly nothing tastes good for the rest of the day.
I can't even drink this beer anymore.
Put the beers down. Let's just go vomit.
That made me think of that Austin Powers movie where he was trying to distract himself. He was like,
Margaret
Thatcher naked. Margaret Thatcher naked. Margaret Thatcher naked.
Right? You know what an interesting topic of discussion is? It's actually just a point to ponder because I have nothing beyond it. But the pro-marijuana crowd here, they like to dredge up all these different why marijuana is illegal in the United States. And it's all about capitalism and racism and more racism and greed and corporations. I don't know. It's kind of far-fetched, but not 100% far-fetched. Anyways, it's like, okay, so that's fine. But then can you explain why marijuana is also illegal in Russia and apparently still in England? I thought it was legal in England at this point. But, you know, it was illegal in a lot of European states.
Because a lot of European states are conservative, and the conservative view against marijuana was, you know, it goes back to like pre-prohibition, man, you know.
Right, except
maybe it's an interpretation of the Bible, you know.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, well, marijuana's bad. You know.
Europe never had that. horrible dark period where they outlawed beer, though.
No, you're right.
Oh,
I don't remember when marijuana was illegal in the United States. I thought I saw something a while back where prior to this date it wasn't really a thing. It wasn't illegal, but then somebody made it illegal federally.
well, someone pushed for it to become a Schedule I drug.
Yeah.
And of course, marijuana itself is not illegal. Schedule I drugs are highly controlled substances that you can't, imbibe, yada, yada, yada. So it's Schedule I drugs, and somebody managed to include marijuana on Schedule I.
There's probably someone who was really ultra conservative. And just, some of those people that think any kind of pleasure is counterintuitive to your faith or something like that. There's people like that. It's like, oh, how dare you enjoy yourself? That's against your faith. That's against our faith. Like
Mormons
or or people that think any sex other for the purpose of other than procreation, and how you better not do anything other than missionary style. It's like that kind of thinking is what I'm talking about. That very narrow, closed off, rigid thinking.
There's a branch of Judaism.
Probably that kind of person that made marijuana illegal. So I'm guessing. Judaism, you said?
Judaism. Yeah, it's not all Jewish people, obviously, but there's a ultra conservative sect. Do the whole they have to make modifications to bed sheets to allow for the actual intercourse to happen. Like you can't actually look at your partner naked. You can't,
See, it's so stupid.
And the thing is that I don't necessarily know that's true. Kind of like the underwear machines in Japan, which that's a big famous myth over here. Well, it is. It's a myth. Apparently, it's illegal and has been illegal for many years. Although it's a myth with truth at its root.
Right. I don't think they were I wouldn't be surprised. I don't remember seeing any publicly, at the train station when I was there. But I wouldn't be surprised.
I never saw any. And let me tell you, I looked just because I was just like, right. I've got to find this vending machine.
I don't think. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they were kind of in seedier areas, maybe. The underwear machines.
They were in parts of Akihabara.
Some porn shop or something.
Have you been to Akihabara?
Yeah, a long time ago, in 2007 and back. I never went there walk around a lot. I went one time.
All right, but it was just like a district,
just
right?
Like any other part of Japan, man.
It wasn't like going to the wrong side of the tracks. Not like going to the Bronx in the 70s.
No, I don't remember that at all.
Okay.
In fact, Japan it's not. When I remember, you couldn't really tell what the wrong side of the tracks was. Everything looked kind of the same,
Well, the other thing is, if you don't know, sometimes you don't know.
And so what people warn me about,
well, I was to continue that. I've been to New York, several times,
right,
and hanging out, and they're like, "Oh man, we gotta get out of this neighborhood. This is not a good place." And I look around, I don't see what's going on, and we would literally walk 2 blocks and cross the road. They're like, "Okay, that's better." And I'd look around.
You're outside of someone's turf now. Yeah.
And I'm like, there is nothing different. There's nothing different. There's a building with bars on all the windows. 2 blocks ago, buildings with bars on all the windows. What makes these bars friendlier than those bars?
That's how Japan was for me when I was there. I was like, I didn't know what was a good or bad part of town. I mean, I never got in trouble or anything, but I think what was the differences were certain clubs you didn't go into, certain bars. You're like, don't go in that bar. That is a Yakuza bar, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't street gang kind of stuff you would experience in New York. It was just like, yeah, don't go in that one. Usually you could tell because there was a guy outside the door in a suit.
Right. Well, how reactionary from how reactionary are the Yakuza? Because I only get Hollywood myth, and we know Hollywood myth is bullshit.
Bull crap.
You
dropped an S-bomb on there. Yes.
All right.
I'm not the only one now. I don't know because I didn't talk to any real Yakuza when I was there, but people I knew, Japanese people I knew, they just kind of pointed places out like, yeah, don't go in there. Don't, you want to stay clear of that place, that's a Yakuza bar, and it's like, oh, okay,
That might have been part because you were Gaijin, you know.
Probably, yeah.
And so that
American
changes the
foreigner,
dynamic. Well, I'm just like going into like a mafia club. It's like, really, man, unless you run into some hothead guy.
Probably not going to mess with you.
Right, and and
they don't care about you. You're not like
no, and not only do they care. Think about it. This is organized crime, right? It is a business.
Right, it's a business. They got
like,
bigger things to worry about than some.
And more than that, we don't want the police arresting.
They don't want the attention. Yeah.
Or whoever this guy's function is. It's it's like, Tony, what? If you lose your temper on some random person again, you're out.
Right.
Because this is what you're supposed to do, but you're not doing this because you're down at the station and we're finding ways to get you out, and we're not cool with that. We are about making money. Now they make money in illegal ways, but still think about it. If I was an organized crime don, right, and I had a guy, and he's like doing this, that, and the other, and he was always in trouble, I would drag him aside.
Bringing negative attention to us.
It's like, but he called my mother this. It's like, is your mother that?
Is she?
Yeah. That's the first question. Second question is, it's words, just straight out of Roadhouse.
Yeah.
It is words, two things put together to elicit a response. And if you are so stupid that you cannot restrain that response, then maybe you don't need to be part of the group.
Yeah. Right.
Walmart's calling your name, Tony.
That or a box.
Box, yeah, more likely a box.
But yeah, as far as I know, the real Yakuza, not what we see in Hollywood, probably could care less about a Gaijin, that wanders in their bar on accident, as long as that Gaijin is probably not drawing attention, like being drunk and disorderly.
Right.
If they go in and have a drink and leave, they probably bat an eyelash. I don't know. I'm speculating. They may bat an eyelash. You go in there all, hey, look at me, I'm an American, draw a bunch of negative attention and like be rude to the girls and stuff. Yeah, they're probably gonna. I don't think they would like hurt you necessarily, but they might roughly ask you to leave.
They would escort you out with no option for no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to leave. We don't care.
You're leaving. Now, if you're really persistent and really belligerent, they might rough you up. I don't know. I'm speculating, man.
Yeah.
But you're right. Yeah. I mean,
it just doesn't make sense.
As a mafia, they are business people. They want to make money. Legally or not, they want to make money.
And calling attention to yourself with illegal activity, especially low-level stupid. It's like, Jimmy, you got arrested for getting in a fist fight.
You see in the movies, that's why those guys lose fingers for dumb stuff like that. That low stuff.
Yeah, it's like you should be above that, man.
Like you are way better than that. You were supposed to be.
You're not, because you're a criminal and everything
you're
do
supposed to be like an up and coming guy or something,
Yeah, you're never gonna get made.
I don't know what the
hierarchy
is. There's a pretty strict code, from what I understand. There's a hierarchy and a pecking order, of course.
Well, and there are several mafias. There's a Jewish mafia.
The Irish mafia. And I don't mean IRA either. I mean like an Irish mafia in the United States.
Right. And what's interesting, I don't know about the Yakuza, but I do know about the origins of the Italian mafia were actually an anti-government protection thing.
Right. You're talking about like Sicily and all that. Sicilian mafia.
It actually had kind of a good origin.
Right.
And then it just.
Well, so the IRA. The IRA had initially was founded on honorable roots,
Mm-hmm.
And it went bad, Things went sour. And they started breaking laws and killing people. Anyway.
Kind of would expect it to be boiling by now.
Yeah.
Jet engine mode. Can you burn water? Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. Yeah, I figured you'd be boiling by now too, man.
I think it's pretty close, but. You can do it, little pot. Go for it. You can boil. Si se puede.
That's good enough. I'm not gonna let that drop in there and go. I gotta go get my.
Splashing beer sludge into all our beers.
God, I'd be so mad because that's old beer in there too. I gotta get my malts.
So now we're to the part of the show where I've run out of interesting things to talk about. Steve has left me. There's nobody talking to me. I am my own viewer. I should comment on my own thing. Make witty comments on my own broadcast. Things are going to get a little more interesting here in a minute. We're going to get some boiling, and that'll be fun to watch. Fun to watch boiling. It's always fun to watch boiling liquids. We're a freaking heartbeat away from it. Come on! Boil! Boil! Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. All right. There we go. You can't see it because it's right on the edge. It's right here. Right here. Where the camera can't see. But there's boiling going on. Put this spoon over here because that is freaking hot. All right. From no boil to roiling boil in 5 seconds.
Like overshot, huh?
Yeah.
I use your hops.
I do, but I got to get this under control first. So no super rush.
I'll still give you your hops.
I appreciate that.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Ooh, excuse me.
It's the beer talking.
It is, quite literally. Wow, that bubbled. It's gonna make me sticky.
Oh man, you slapped it on the outside too. You're doomed, dude. You are doomed. Welcome to Sticky.
Doom is my middle name. Oh, that's right. I'll survive.
By the way, what is the hop schedule?
Read your thing. Don't you have your thing?
Ooh.
It's thick. It's 1 ounce at 60 minutes, and then half ounce at something, and half ounce at something. I forget what it was. I think 10 and 1.
1 ounce at 60, half ounce at 10, and half ounce at 1. You know, that's another interesting thing about beer, is the timing of the addition of the hops can change something. I think that's part of the reason that makes this beer kind of cool. It's because of the hops that are used and when you add them. You know, if you were to add, you know, like 1 ounce at 60 and 1 ounce at 15, it would be a totally different beer. Probably not as good, to be honest.
Maybe not. Yep.
Well, I think it would be more bitter with less like aroma and stuff going on.
That.
Trying to get this beer under control here. It seems like we're getting there. All right,
Sure, open the door. That'll stabilize it.
My pot's not as prone to that as yours is. Your pot's the one that's all touchy. Oh, it's cold. Oh, it's hot. Oh, it's cold. Oh, it's hot. I'm boiling. I'm not boiling. I'm boiling. I'm not boiling. Steven, pay attention to me for the whole hour. Don't walk away for even 2 minutes. You know I'm right.
Yes.
Your pot loves you. Your pot is like your daughter.
It's like a needy cat, man.
Okay, so 1 ounce at 60 minutes. I'm going to call that rolling. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm actually going to remember to set my timer, something I often forget to do. It's amazing that I make beer at all, dude. Did you set your timer? No. All right, so then we're doing half at 10 and half at 1.
Yeah. Come on, man. Really? Really? I'm just gonna
This is amusing.
shred apart like a pain in the arse.
I think while we're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and dump the.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna need that bucket up there.
Yep, I got it. Go ahead and sanitize the wort chiller. Get it nice and clean.
You did turn your timer on, right?
I did start my timer. Yeah, that was the joke. That was the joke.
Well, no, you set the timer, but did you start it? It was what I was joking on.
Shut up, Steve. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I did. I started it. I said it, and I started it. So.
Gotcha.
By the way, how's your beer?
Oh. All right.
See this? See this, ladies and gentlemen? This is a sign of a pro. If we were to look over at Steve's beer, we'd see the sign of an amateur.
Oh.
A half-finished amateur. In fact, let's take a look. Let's take a look, folks. What do we got over there? Oh my goodness! Look at all that beer in that glass. Okay, I see. It's okay, Steve. I'll let you roll with me. I will take you along. I will support you.
Mm-hmm.
Have we mentioned that we're at Steve's house?
It's all right, mate.
It's all right. You think in England they do American accents the same way we do that?
They might. You never know.
Have you ever? So my friend Jen, Peter and Jen.
Right.
She occasionally tries to do an American accent, and she does really good.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's very much a California Valley Girl accent.
Oh yeah. Let's say what part does she do? Because there's so many different accents in this country.
There are so many different accents in England. For a country that's no bigger than Michigan, holy crap, they got a lot of accents.
Oh, okay.
They got London, and then they got Kent,
South
and
London?
then North, and down, and apparently in Cornwall, in the Wales area, it's just all psycho. And yeah. I did not know that you could have that many accents and cultures in such a little tiny piece of ground. I mean, it'd be one thing if we're back in the, say, 17th century when traveling 40 miles was a significant trip.
Right.
But come on, we're in the 21st century. 40 miles is nothing. We'll travel 40 miles for a hamburger.
All right. I'm going to go rinse my hands because I haven't done these things.
Are you all sticky?
I know this. It is the way.
There we go, getting sued. Now the Mandalorian's gonna sue us. I've got a nice boil going. I'm happy about that. And I am gonna open the garage door, and we'll see how the boil lasts. Okay, I don't know about you, but in my world, anytime someone opens a garage door, they should play the choral portion of Ode to Joy.
Nice.
Actually, Ode to Joy is that portion of Beethoven's Ninth. Oh, I don't know. I just wanted bum 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 bum. It's like I want to hear this.
Okay.
Going for the boil?
Going.
Wow! Bam! I want to talk to Samson.
Boil. Okay, flame on.
Lemon!
I got a ways to go before that's going to boil. So in the
That's
meantime, I'm going to take care of some other things. Throw on pot cam.
Yeah, just leave it on pot
I'm
cam.
going to start pulling things out of the rinse and get it drying and
All right.
that kind of stuff. And get things ready for.
I'll kind of half monitor. We'll just let it roll. We really need to like finish an album or something so we could like play background music at this point. Be awesome. Everybody love it. Oh. Meanwhile, off camera, we're dumping sanitizing water into a bucket.
All right.
All right, all right, all right.
Oh, I have a hot break going.
Oh, it's my favorite part.
Let's do the hot break.
I love the hot break. It is so cool.
The only thing I have left to do is my carboy. Just need to drain it. Everything else is ready. It's all ready.
Well, the wort chiller is sanitizing.
Okay,
My carboy's ready.
good thing.
Pot can is pot canning.
Pot canning.
Everything's a verb, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over here Jameying. You're over there Steving.
Ah, good Stevening.
Stevening?
Good Stevening.
Good Stevening.
Trying to get this beer down so I can pour another.
Dude, look, man, just accept your level, okay? Don't slam the beer.
Get some piece.
What?
Oh, I was looking at this old keg. I need a new lid or new plastic pieces.
The little feet.
Yeah, little plastic piece. One of them missing.
Oh. This, dear viewer, is the exciting part of beer and waiting. And waiting. And waiting some more. Oh man, now we're gonna get sued again. I whistled a copyrighted song.
We needed some sustenance besides beer.
Ooh, snacks!
Snacks. And we have some popcorn. I got other popcorn too I can bring out.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Snickerdoodle popcorn. Yeah, let's just kill this. That way I can get it off my shelf.
All right. For you, I will kill the Tex-Mex.
Oh, be a team effort.
All right. Take it down.
You're going down with Tex Mix.
Look at my beer.
Where is your beer? How did you lose your beer? Oh my goodness. Now you're losing beer? What the heck, dude? Okay. In case you didn't hear that, he found it.
It was on the kitchen counter
Well, at least it was safe.
next to all this stuff. So like everything's already out of the solution. I'm keeping the solution there for when we swap things over. Like
Mhm.
all the water locks are out. We both had the same water locks. Just grab whichever one. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
whichever one.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Only thing I got left is my carboy. I need to drain it and let it sit for a little bit. And we don't have to do after we get done doing.
Then we could just chill.
We can just chill and critique things like Bill Maher and who's the other guy we're watching?
Watch Ben Shapiro,
Ben
Jordan
Shapiro.
Peterson.
See, we kind of give equal credence to both sides of the political spectrum. We watch Bill Maher, and then we watch Ben Shapiro, and talk about the things we were watching.
All right, see,
What's up?
we watch Bill Maher when he bags on left.
I know. I'm being silly.
I want to know what is up with.
But that's why we watch Bill Maher, because he's not afraid to call out his own side. Like, hey, really? They're making us look bad.
Well, yeah, and that's like my whole comment on the. Have a seat, man. We're back on normal cam. We're gonna leave pop cam right in the picture.
Normie cam.
Normie cam. But I think there are several voices who, so like Bill Maher for sure, when he does some of his comedy stuff and other stuff, like he is much similar to Ben Shapiro, and he takes a very biased, unbalanced, non-understanding view of like Republicans and conservatives.
Right.
And that's in his comedy thing. Use the force. And Ben Shapiro does the similar thing when he does a lot of his monologues. But when you watch those guys together, they don't necessarily back up from their viewpoints, but they're much less critical of the other side. Like when they've done interviews.
Well, it's like a respect thing, I believe.
Yeah.
If you have seen where they're talking to each other, it seems like there's a little bit of mutual respect there,
Mm-hmm. Well, it's one of those things. It's like
Just stale.
I don't mind. I'll eat anything. I'm a regular Mikey. Which that never made sense with the commercial. Give it to Mikey, he'll eat anything. It's like that was a way of judging whether it was good or bad. It's like, wait a minute. You're trying to say what did Mikey eat? What was that a commercial for? It was a cereal.
Hey,
wasn't it?
Mikey likes it. Now I don't know. Have to look it up.
I was pretty young when Mikey was around. I have a feeling Mikey's older than me.
Yeah, I think Mikey's probably pretty old now. Mikey likes a commercial. It was Life.
Life cereal?
Life cereal. Yeah.
Ooh. I like Life cereal. It's good. Anyhow, the whole Bill Maher, Ben Shapiro thing, right? It's like, I think you're right. There's like a mutual respect thing, and also this observance of these are worldviews that I like my way better, but to an extent, that's what it is. I like my way better.
Right.
It's not 100% necessarily more effective than your way, but I don't believe your way is more effective than mine. And since neither method is more effective of achieving the goal, I like my way better. And so that's, on that level, it's fine. One of the problems with both sides is when they start to do moral accusations against the other side for things. And certain things, I'm definitely on the conservative side of the fence, and I agree with the moral accusation. It's like, no, your stance is morally wrong. In other areas, I am less that. I'm like, your stance is different. I think it's dumb, but it's not morally. You're not an evil person for holding that stance.
Right.
Like gun control. A lot of people that want excessive gun control, they're coming from a very genuine place. They believe that by controlling the populace, they're making people safer. And some people on the other side, it's like, look, I very much do believe that governments tend towards tyranny. And I think that, my guns stop that. And some people would disagree and say, oh, your AR-15 isn't going to go up against a military thing. It's like, okay, so if you're saying my AR-15 is useless against the military, I guess we can stop calling it a weapon of war then, huh? Just saying. Not just saying. I never just say.
Right.
But But also, it's just, obviously we know what side of that debate I'm on, but it's, people like me, we truly believe that governments, I mean, they always get bigger, right? Pick a bureaucracy that over time did its purpose and then was phased out.
Never happened.
Never happened. EPA started with this goal, and now the EPA is one of the most powerful agencies. The EPA can walk onto a nuclear submarine and walk up to a door and say, open that. It's like, no, I'm sorry, that's top secret. And the EPA says, no, open that. Remember where you could put things in private lockers and the various inspection groups couldn't go because it was a private locker?
Not with them.
Nope, EPA walks right into that stuff. It's an incredibly powerful agency. I think you're there, man.
I am. Stable? It was stable? Don't shut the door.
Yeah, the door's not moving for the rest of the broadcast.
Even though it's a little wet today, it's not cold anymore, so.
Yeah, it's not frigid cold. I mean, it's cool.
It's chilly, yeah, but
It's probably
not like it was when we were brewing in January,
high 40, yeah, January. It's like, okay, it is 30 degrees out. Can we close the door? No, because the boils will change.
Forgot my device. Almost forgot my device. My little brewing contraption.
So much gear.
This thing is awesome. And it really cuts down on
The sludge.
the sludge. I wish it was a little smaller, but that's right though.
You need to build yourself like a little wire clip so it just sits there
Right?
instead of trying to tip over and disappear.
You stay right there. Timer go.
No, you're...
There you go.
Getting a little aggressive, is it?
You could say that.
Attack boil! Where it gets really interesting in the arguing is where one side has a moral stance and the other side believes equally strongly that their stance is morally true.
Sure.
Because then you have an interesting, because there are divisive arguments where it is a moral issue, and both sides are like, no, this is not a difference of opinion. This isn't, I think we should raise taxes. I think we should cut spending. This is like, you are morally doing something wrong. It's a lot harder to resolve disputes like that.
Yeah. Okay. The beer.
Finally fills his beer.
Got a nice textbook boil. I think we're in there.
Wait till the wind changes.
Bite your tongue.
Okay. Wait till the wind changes.
All right, we're doing all right. We don't have any more. We haven't had another viewer, have we?
No, just Kaelim.
I think it's pronounced Calum. The AE is like a long A.
You think so?
Yeah.
I have no reason to disagree. That one's a little outside my range of experience. Makes good sense though, like aeronautics.
Aerospace. Aerosmith.
with their 19 albums that all sound the same. No offense, Steven. Tyler. Not you, Steven.
I know. Yes, I know you weren't referring to me. For one, I'm a Steven. He's a Stephen. Or Stefan. You know?
Is he a Stefan?
Yeah, he's a PH.
Stefan.
I think he's a PH. I'm a B. Yeah, I've seen Aerosmith twice over the years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Saw him first time in 1990. During the whatever album had that that song. Pump, I think was the album Pump. So it was that tour.
Okay.
And I saw him again 94, I want to say. I don't remember the name of the album, but they were touring the album where the album cover was a cow udder with an earring in it. Which I can't remember the name of the album. So it was a cow udder with a loop earring in it, like a that was
Also a pump. But in a completely different
right.
sense.
I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, it was fun. I mean, to see Aerosmith, I was like, oh, it's Aerosmith, it's because they were
Well, sure, they're an
they were a
iconic
rock and roll
band.
band, they were rock and roll.
Yeah.
They had drug problems, they beat it,
Did they? Did they
Yeah.
have all the adventures?
They had adventures.
I guess all of them did, didn't they?
In fact, the guy that helped Aerosmith get clean was the guy that, one of the guys, at least initially, that was working to help Dave Mustaine get clean in the 80s, I think the guy's actually dead, though.
No.
According to I read the book by Dave Mustaine, one about Rust in Peace, but about that album, and he was talking about in the writings that this
Peace
guy
sells, but nobody's rusting.
sure, but in that part I don't remember what exactly part I was reading, but just quite a few times that he had talked about the guy that he said he was the guy that helped Aerosmith get clean. He was helping me kind of thing, he was helping me try to get on path. And I guess the guy was like an ex-gang member kind of thing, but went the straight path and decided to help people kind of thing. And he ended up dying though.
Well, I mean, everybody dies. Dude.
Well, no, like early. I can't remember if they said he got killed or or something happened. Like somebody killed him or like he got an axe. I can't remember what was said. It sounded like I think somebody killed him. Like he was found dead. And it just seemed like the circumstances were kind of weird. You got told a bunch of crumbs in your stash, man. Like the circumstances were just kind of weird.
I wear them well.
Like it looked like foul play kind of thing, If I remember the book correctly.
Why you gotta bring up sad stories, Steve?
I'm a nihilist.
No, you do like metal. Off to the garbage can. Got some good boiling going on here. What the heck? There we go. We're gonna do a little testing because nobody's watching anyways. Nope, that didn't work. Well, okay, we're gonna leave it on pot cam for a little bit. Look at these lovely boiling pots of beer. Actually, it's not beer yet. It is still considered wort. W-O-R-T. It's not beer until we add the yeast and let it do its thing. Welcome, viewer number 2, whoever you are. We're on pot cam right now. Just watching the kettles boil. Go ahead and move back over to regular cam. See who we got. Ugh. And I don't know what's going on there. We desperately need a production team. Desperately. So, on the chance that you are not Caleb, as Steve believes that is pronounced, or Nathan, or Jade, you have stumbled across Northwest Brewmeisters. Unfortunately, you've arrived at the portion of the show which is kind of boring, to be honest. We need to make a soundtrack for this part, where there's like music or something. So, we're just a couple guys that watch the drink beer and think you should too. And we're brewing beer. Today we're brewing a couple identical batches. It's a steam beer.
Red Eye.
Red Eye? I am talking to viewer number 2.
Oh, yeah,
Who would actually be viewer number 3 because viewer number 2 left.
right?
Unless it is viewer number 2 who has returned. We have yet to receive
Tell me
a
about
comment.
your number 231 person.
3-1?
Oh,
Well,
they haven't said anything to us.
They
yet.
kind of have. And the foam joins us. So viewer number 2, I mean, it's like a loop at the top, and then it scrolls down here and stops, and then goes straight across the bottom.
What is
Viewer number 2.
your name?
No, it's just a 2.
Oh,
I'm describing a 2.
oh goodness. All right, well, welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome to. You have joined at the boring part, unfortunately.
We're literally watching liquid boil at this
Yes.
point. My boil kind of weakened a little bit, but it's still moving. So,
Okay, so if you fix it, you don't go anywhere
no,
because you know what happens.
I know.
Poor Steve.
But
His
48
pot
and a half
is so
minutes left on
temperamental.
that.
Basically, what it is his pot likes attention. Steve's pot loves him, and Steve's pot feels like Steve doesn't feel paid enough attention.
So what happens is, I compensate for like a temperature change, and then it equalizes, and all of a sudden it becomes too hot or too cold.
Which the thing that I don't get is you have a better burner than me.
Right, but
It is-
your fire is closer to your pot though. Mine has a bigger gap.
Yeah, I know, but yours is like newer. It's got this cool windscreen. It's like
Yeah,
he's better.
it's like $80 for this damn thing too.
Mine is old and so rusted that eventually it's going to stop working. I'm going to have to get a new one eventually.
Yeah. Yep.
And by me, I mean I'm going to have to replace this one that I stole from you years ago. That's right. All of my gear is Steve's. Well, actually, wait, this is not.
No, that pot's
This
yours.
pot I bought.
You bought your own carboy.
All right. This spoon is mine, but Steve bought it for me.
It was a gift.
It was a gift, so it's mine. It's mine.
One of those carboys was mine, but you have a second carboy that's yours though.
Right. I'm going to say that's the mine one. That makes me feel better.
You ended up buying your own, but all your secondaries are mine.
Shut up, Steve. I own nothing.
Which
I'm a leech.
Which I didn't buy them. They were in the when I bought this house. They were in that.
That's true. A
shed
lot of that
house,
stuff just kind of showed up.
There was like 7 of those things in there. I was like, wow.
Yeah, well, they're glass, man. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like,
One of them became a change jar for like collecting all our loose change, and
met a violent end.
they did. And it got broken on accident. Thankfully, nobody got hurt. fact that it's right over there, ready to go to the dump,
So
the glass recycle. And then you've taken a couple of them.
Yeah.
I know I've got mine up on the shelf that I use.
I have two. I have two of each. I have two primaries and I have two secondaries. And I have four.
I can't remember if I gave
five
one
kegs.
away or
I have
something.
5 kegs.
Not the one that's broken, obviously. I don't know if I gave one away or what. Doesn't really matter.
I gave you something. I know I gave you something. I gave you a pressure regulator.
You did.
Yes, I feel good. See, I'm magnanimous too. I am charitable and giving and good.
You did. You gave me.
I don't just always take.
Yeah, so
Most of the time.
Reed is offering a couple kegs, but he called me yesterday, and so I told him, no, we kind of don't need the equipment. You know what I mean?
You gotta be careful.
In fact, the only thing I'm taking from him is another regulator. So, and
like a CO2 regulator?
another regulator.
Sweet, dude.
And I think he had a bottle too. He was going to give me. It's like I'm going to run my rotation, my swap out rotation.
I need to pull that bottle out of my kegerator and go swap it in and get a new bottle of CO2 so I can have 2 bottles.
But I just didn't have a use for another bucket or another carboy.
Well, you gotta be careful because you're like, oh, it's free. Oh, it's perfectly good. Next thing you know, you just have a garage. In your case,
I have
a garage full of stuff that you never use.
5 kegs, which only at any given time there's only really 3 that have anything in them.
Right.
Very few times I've ever actually had 4 kegs with something in them, and one of them was empty within that same day. So I went back to 3. You know what I mean?
Right.
As far as the carboys go, good to go. There's another bucket over there with a bunch of things that Rob gave me.
Mm-hmm.
My boss, I was helping him. I was helping him with some riveting on his boat, and he was like, "Here, can you use this stuff?" I'm like, "Find a use for it."
Yep.
So there's another hygrometer in there, or hydrometer, whichever one it is. Hydrometer. There's another hydrometer. There's another graduated cylinder, another thermometer kind of thing. Yeah.
See, I do occasionally use at least 4 of my kegs all at the same time. Hunting season.
When you go hunting, when you go to hunting camp. So
I'm to drag the beer up into the mountains.
I have 44.5 minutes. So at 30 minutes, I need to remember to put my next.
Which is why we need to make some Scotch ale in 2 weeks.
Separate my hot pack.
Wait a minute. What's happening in 2 weeks? Oh, man. Okay, I got 11 minutes.
In 2 weeks? I don't know what's happening in 2 weeks. You just get a reminder or something?
Oh, I got
You have your knife on you?
Yeah, it's in my pocket. It's in my pocket.
I got one knife in my pocket. The other one's the one beside. What? The song.
I know.
I was making fun of the song.
Yeah, successfully, I might add.
Yes.
Okay, so 2 weeks is. I'm gonna see here. So that's the 7th of May.
It'll be May.
Right. It'll be the 7th, right? Okay. Today's the 23rd, then the 30th, then the 7th. Okay, so next week, next brew day, we have to make sure we let the people know. We're gonna miss a brew day on the half.
On what?
We're gonna miss a brew day in the last half of May.
Okay. Well, yeah, you're gonna be out of town. So.
Yep. So
it is what it is, man.
It is what it is. You'll be able to drink down your overabundance.
Yeah, that's fine. I think I'm less affected by missing brew days than you are, honestly.
I like the brew days.
If we have to miss a day, it's like, okay. It doesn't bother me, man.
Well, as far as volume goes, it's not set. So I told you I lost 15 pounds.
Yeah.
I seem to have found 5 of it.
Oh.
So I gotta be careful.
Maybe not make such giant plates, man.
That
might help you.
That has little to do with that. Like, it really doesn't. It has little to do with that. What it has to do with is the 4 beers every night.
That might be
I drink a lot more beer than you.
Yeah, I don't touch beer during the week.
Yeah.
I'm a weekend warrior, and that's it, man.
It's so tasty, and it calls to me from the basement. I'll be standing there and be like, Daddy, Daddy, are you thirsty?
So your beer is meaty.
It is, kind of like your pot.
I got my pot, yeah.
what I am going to start doing, I am going to drink less. I think I'm going to reduce during the week because I like being 15 pounds lighter. It'd be nice to be 30 pounds lighter. Not 30 pounds from where I'm at, but like the total journey. 30 pounds from where I'm at would make me kind of.
I'm making 45 pounds lighter. You might be a little emaciated looking.
Yeah, you know? that would make me kind of.
Ooh, is he okay? That was me when I came off my last deployment because I was a flight coordinator and I just lost so much weight because I didn't eat and I was always on my feet. So I was I really slimmed down, you know. And Brandy took pictures of me and put them on Facebook, and her family was like, "Steve, okay?" She's like, "Yeah, why?" She's like, "He looks sick." And I saw pictures. I'm like, "Oh my god, I really thinned down, man."
You know what's funny is like, so that happened to you on that cruise. We went on deployment to Japan, and it was senior. I can't remember his last name. It's not important. Anyways, he was into physical fitness. He believed in the PRT program.
Right.
He's like, we're in the military PTs. So we go to Japan. He's got a captive audience, right? Nobody can escape. And he was the acting maintenance master chief. And so he's like, you know what? We're on a Marine Corps base. We're going to PT. Oh. And it's going to happen. All y'all.
And it's going to hurt.
Yep. And guess what? We're going to wear the uniform. And there's so many people fought that. You can't make me wear this uniform. He's like, I'm sorry. Is it
it's part uniform? Of your sea bag.
Is it a uniform? Yes. Then you can wear it.
You can wear it. Oh my god.
And the ones who complained the most were the girls.
Fat asses, right?
Not so much. I mean, some of the dudes complained too, and they were mainly the fat ones. It was mainly the girls who complained. And to be fair, that first PT uniform came out, particularly the shirt, did nothing for girls.
Right.
Particularly in the modesty department.
I know what you meant.
But anyhow, we did this whole PT thing every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're out there, and I saw a picture of me, and you said you were emaciated. I was freaking huge. I mean, like it was like 6 feet across my chest. Just I was just like a tank. I said, wow. Now I'm like more like an armored personnel vehicle without armor. Which is kind of a Jeep. I'm a Jeep.
So when I said lower, like use a smaller portion, that wasn't a personal attack. That's what I'm trying to do for myself to try to.
Oh no, I don't.
I make myself some because I'm like you. I make huge plates sometimes. It's just like
And I've actually here's one of the mistakes I make is that I don't eat anything all day. You know.
Right after you, when you finally get a chance to eat your
caffeine all the way through, and then it's like come home and eat 17 pounds of food.
That was me a lot in the Navy. I just didn't eat all that. I didn't eat breakfast, I didn't eat lunch, and I get home and just like eat like that, just gorge myself. And it's like it's not doing so hot. So I try to make myself eat during the day, but it's easier for me because I'm not at work until the evening, so I have time to eat.
Whoa. See, there you go. Your pot's like, you're not paying attention.
Well, I had to adjust the
heat because
it seemed like it was not quite
faded away, and now you gotta.
You're so sensitive, pot.
You're so sensitive. Maybe your pot needs a safe space.
How dare you use that phrase in this house? There are no safe spaces in this house, mister.
Boy, ain't that the truth. I've seen you. Not only have I met with your family, I've engaged with them. They are brutal, even to me.
I think we're under control now. There we go.
All right. That's not freaking out. Okay. Oh, we gotta keep an eye on things now.
Oh, getting done.
I got 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, the good news is all the sanitization stuff is done.
Do you have like a paper plate or something?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we should, yeah.
Because I need to divide the hops in half.
Yeah, I was thinking about that myself, actually. Yeah, good thinking. Hear that.
This is the part where I have to watch Steve's pot. The number of times that Steve has walked away to go do something that was legitimate, transfer, sanitization stuff, get some gear, do whatever, and his pot randomly decided to boil over. However, I think his pot's doing pretty well. Let's go back to pot cam, people. Pot cam, person, because there's only one of you. Looking at pot cam. What do you think? I think we got good boils. Under control. Nice rolling boil on both. Doing well here. All right, I'm not going to lie. I need to know who you are. Who are you, viewer number 2? So quiet. Not typing anything. Frustration. I need to know. Can't stand not knowing. Oh well. Sometimes life has mysteries. 3 minutes and 30 seconds until we add the hops. Running out of time, Steve. 3 minutes, 30 seconds. 3 minutes and 22 seconds, Steve. 20 seconds. I'm running out of time. Quickly. We're back on pot cam, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's not like a huge important thing, but just so you know. Anyway, we're back on pot cam.
Sweet.
I can't reach this because the 5 pounds has settled around my belt line.
I have 5 minutes. It's 30 minutes, right? We put the first half in?
No, it's 10.
Oh, 10 minutes. Okay.
Don't do that to me. It's like,
Wait a minute.
It's like I am so late. It's like, all right, this is going to turn out nothing like what this is. All right, nope. 1 ounce at 60, half an ounce at 10, and half an ounce at 1.
At 1, okay. That other viewer actually comment yet? No?
No comments. I even let them know that I must know them. Who are you? How can you do this to us? How can you sit there so quiet, so mysterious? It's almost like they're nefarious. I think there's some evil going on here. Tell us who you are, viewer number 2. Viewer number 2.
It could be a bot. It could be a bot.
I don't think it's a bot. A bot would have said, Merful Nick is flirting.
I know, right? Like what language is that bot speaking? That was pretty funny. All right. So maybe it's somebody we really know, and they're just like, yeah, I'm gonna mess with them, you know?
Probably is. Probably Nathan goes, they're going nuts. They don't know who I am.
Well, speaking of Nathan, since he's in Florida, there's a good chance that if he's available and willing, I might be able to meet with him in person.
Oh, dude,
If
you
we
should
go-
totally do that.
Well, I think we're going to go this year and visit Brandy's family.
Yeah, man, that would be sweet.
And that, probably wouldn't be too much of a drive to go meet him somewhere, have a beer or whatever. Maybe
fly
get
down?
a chance to try some of his meat,
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, it'll be like holiday time frame, It's not for the whole till the end of the year, but I think that's what we're going to do this year. We haven't traveled anywhere since Christmas of 2019, and plague hit, so we didn't really go anywhere during the plague.
Yeah.
Plague is pretty much a non-thing anymore.
Yep. I got lucky.
Yeah.
So Japan on May 8th is downgrading COVID to a class 5 disease or something.
Okay.
The reason that's important is,
No mask kind of thing, or
well, I'm still gonna. I mean, the Asian countries do that.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I am very much. I am in your house. I will play by your
oh yeah,
rules.
absolutely. I would do the same
It's
thing.
like, I didn't go stumping around England saying you guys need guns.
Right.
It's like, come on, can you be more of a jerk? No, what's really important though is that if you and I were to go to Japan right now, we would either need to demonstrate vaccination, full vaccination.
Okay.
And oh, by the way, in Japan, full vaccination means initial and 3 boosters.
3 boosters, huh? Okay.
So obviously, well, I don't know how many boosters you've had, but I wouldn't qualify for that.
I bet you.
Okay, I've had none. Got the initial shot, good enough for me. I'm fine.
Oh. Maybe I only had 1 booster.
Yep, I didn't do the boosters. I was like, by the time the booster thing, everybody's freaking out. We were into Omicron, and I'm watching this thing. I'm like, you guys are fear mongering at this point.
I know, right?
You are just pumping up Pfizer stocks. That's all you're doing. The United States government has picked a company that they want to succeed, and they are pushing it. All right, but let's not get away because that's another controversial topic. But
Did
point
you
me.
already put your house?
No. I got oh, damn it. Yes, I did.
I'll do that, please.
I only missed by a minute and 2 seconds.
Well, because when you first said something, you were down to 3 minutes. I'm like, I think it's been 3 minutes. You know?
I never do beer right. I've mentioned before in this broadcast.
You're probably going to need this before I do.
What's that?
Oh no, I don't, because you put your you're dumping your remaining in. Never mind.
Yeah, I put the rest. I put the other
Yeah,
half in the
I got
pouch,
it.
so I will just put right there.
I was overthinking it.
I am gonna watch this one though, because a 1 minute hop edition. That's kind of precise.
I need like a little drug dealer scale. For when we do these half hop things.
I have one.
Oh, yeah.
It's all analog, but
It's
still,
fine.
it measures.
Do the job.
It measures down. It measures in grams. I don't know how accurate it is. It's all mechanical, spring loaded.
Mm-hmm.
Cost me $1.08.
I'd say it's probably not calibrated. Then it was $1.08.
And well, I bought it at the thrift store.
Oh,
It
okay.
might have been nice when it was first purchased.
Gotcha.
I don't need it to be precise. I just needed something to weigh out meat for grinding. I was grinding up a whole bunch of deer meat
Right.
and adding fat to it type deal. And I wanted to get to like a 20% ratio of beef suet to deer meat. Because
Okay.
deer meat is super dry.
Oh.
If you don't add enough fat to it, like we're talking burger, right?
Right.
You don't add enough fat to it, geez, it's just you can't. You have to. You end up adding oil or something just to brown burger because there's not enough fat to add lubrication to the bottom of your pan.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Didn't really know that, but then again, I'm not a hunter or
Yep. Well, it's like rabbit. So rabbits carry most of their fat outside of their muscle tissue.
Oh.
Deer and elk are very much the same. It's outside of their muscle tissue, as opposed to like chickens and pork and beef. The fat is marbled into the muscle tissue,
Yep.
and that's why their muscle, they're so juicy and delicious and all that fun stuff. And they are, can't lie, man. Beef is great.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I'm not like a huge,
Right.
meat to die for.
I am
guy.
I'm not gonna walk across broken glass or anything for a steak.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, here's the deal.
Like, I prefer a well cut and well marinated and prepared, like thick pork chop over a steak, man. Like I bought some of those like prime cut whatever pork chops before, like 1.5 to 2 inches thick, marinated. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, when it comes to like, what do you want to eat? It's like, I'll have some pasta.
Right? Give me some pasta.
It's like, wait, so this is a tomahawk T-bone steak, which are stupid expensive at 13 Moons, $100. $100 for a plate.
Oh, it's the name.
Yeah. But the tomahawk, you can buy these tomahawk steaks and they're ridiculous. They're like $25 a pound type stuff.
geez.
Just stupid, right? You could have this, or you could have a PBJ. It's like, what do I got to do for that? They're both free, right? Yeah, they're both free. What do I got to do for that? You got to walk across the road. Give me the PBJ. Ain't worth it, man. Too much walking. That's a wide road. But the reality is, I really do like an Alfredo. Like no meat at all, just cheesy sauces and pastas and stuff. It's like, oh yes, this is.
Well, she's making a vegetable, kind of that vegetable thing you had before when you were still on Lent. She's doing kind of the same.
She knows
thing.
that Lent's over, right?
I told her that. I was like, that's exactly what I said. I was like, Lent's over, right? She's like, yeah, I know.
Okay.
Is there any meat in this? She's like, no. I'm like, all right, whatever.
And the other thing is like, and I'm sure she knows, your wife does not have to make a special meal for me.
No,
that is my
she
thing.
knows that. She's just
Good.
She just knows that usually the standard when we hang out is when there's food you eat. You eat with us, so she just wants to accommodate you because she understands it. It's important,
No, I get that. I did that with my friend Tom Weaver. We were down in San Diego and I think part of it, he was trying to get a chick, so he adopted this diet for this chick. It's like, okay, I get that. You're chasing a girl, but still, it's like, this is one of the other things. It's like, so I'd go to lunch run and I'd ask him, what do you want, Tom?
Yeah.
I'll take a few moments and get something that fits into whatever this wacky diet you're doing is. And I wasn't Orthodox then, so they were all wacky diets. Now that I'm Orthodox, it's like, oh, I understand these wacky diets. By the way, they're still wacky diets.
Still wacky.
But I understand people follow them. 3 minutes. Actually, 1 minute and 30 seconds.
3 minutes.
I have my auto lock screen function set way too fast on my phone. It's like 5 seconds. Boo!
You over there. Oh, I still have a lot of time left.
All right.
I use that.
Actually, well, okay. And then come back, and then it is time to sign off because we are about to start moving all over the place.
Well, I can wait until it's time.
All right, well, okay, so go hit Control Tab. Try again. Oh,
Command tab?
no, yeah, Command Tab. The one to switch. Now hit the number 1. Wait, hit Command Tab again. Hit the number 1. Now hit Command Tab again. Now sit down.
Wow. Okay.
As always, most professional broadcasts this side of the Columbia.
Apparently.
I will train you on the production team thing. We need a production team, Steve. All right. So, anyways, things are about to get crazy here. In fact, I have 1 minute until I have to add this little pouch in here, and then we're running around and we're chilling. We're back and forth, and there's this cord between pot cam, which you can see, and the cam that it's all on the laptop, yada yada, etc. The point being, we got to say goodbye now. All right. So this has been another fun time. Thank you, Calum. I don't know Steve's pronunciation. Thank you, Calum, for pitching in. Viewer number 2, curse you for never revealing yourself. We will find out who you are. I swear. Do you know how to dox people?
That's a dick move, man.
All right, I guess we're not going to find
I'm
you.
not
You
gonna
win this time, viewer number
I'm not
2.
going to dox anybody because if someone doxed me, I'd probably hunt them down and kill them or try to.
So violent. I would follow you. I would help you. No, I agree with that. I think doxing is just wrong.
I say that hyperbolically.
Yes,
but,
I know. Yes.
Anyway.
Hyperbole. Wait.
Hyperbole.
Wait. I don't want to screw this one up.
So dramatic.
Look, man, I do things on time like 4% of the time. So when I do it, we got to celebrate.
So punctuality is not a thing with you.
Yeah, not even with my beer. Like it's amazing my beer turns out good. And it does turn out good. Because, it's like, when do you add the hops? Somewhere between 10 and 8. Somewhere there. All right. Hey, anyways, this has been another broadcast of the Northwest Brewmeisters. Thank you for viewing, including you, mysterious viewer number 2. As always, relax.
Don't worry, have a homebrew.
Let's try that again.
I was having a homebrew. I was relaxing with the homebrew.
Well played. Well played. All right, relax.
Don't worry.
Have a homebrew. And now we do the dumb part at the end of the stream thing because we got.
At least like your nose is all up in there, just looking up your nostril.